Welcome to the live video. We have kind of new fun thing we're going to do today. Just, occasionally I'll buy racer lots, or, someone will be getting rid of a bunch of stuff, tackle box full of stuff, or whatever it happens to be. And not that I need more stuff, but a lot of times I'll buy stuff just because I'm curious as to what others are using. And also how they do stuff. It just helps me learn, which also in turn, allows us to make better products, but also helps me understand too, like tune up, setting, all of that kind of stuff. So I love buying stuff from hardcore racers, like guys that are, A-main contenders at national championship races, or, regularly winning their state series or whatnot. So, today I got a box full of stuff here that I bought from a racer. I took the bodies off of the cars just so that I didn't want to expose who it was, but pretty cool. It is a kind of a whole fleet of the RPM's Ghost Cat cars. So we got a Spec racer, a couple of axle setups, super stock, and two CMPM cars, two polymods. So also too, if you're new and you don't understand why I'm on vertical and the camera's flipped, it's so that I can see what it is that I'm showing you guys. So I'm not guessing as to, where I'm holding this or whatnot, but we can, we'll just kind of go through this stuff. First up, going to be the ceramic super stock. So came with a couple of extra axle setups. These cars do run sponge tires, which is cool. So got some sponge tires out of it. But this is the RPM's Ghost Cat car. Has Delrin independent front end. Not sure whose front end that is. I'd have to look at the retainers, but it's probably a quicker front end. Could also be one of RPM's. I'm not sure if they make a plastic one though. But pretty cool setup. This is kind of the newest car that's available on the market right now. So RPM's Ghost Cat, big old huge ceramic magnets. Looks like this one has, let me put my glasses on, but I'm pretty sure this is a quicker gear, probably a quicker rear axle setup, Wizard sponge tires. Not sure whose pinion that is. Looks kind of like a Jag Hobbies one. And then not sure whose motor mags those are. I'm guessing that they're probably standard Super G Plus motor magnets, but yeah. So once I get our road course up and running, we'll do some testing on that. We are going to do some testing and tuning on rear axle setups and that kind of stuff, but yeah, just kind of cool stuff. So I think this is another quicker gear, probably quicker sponge tires, like a whole quicker setup on that one. So Rick DeRosa is the guy behind Quicker, but that's the super stock. Next up is the Spec Racer. So Spec Racer is going to be a level 4 car. Has a few different rear end setups in here. Get that one in there. So this is a level 4 car. Has compression molded magnets. Basically the same as a ceramic super stock. It has a little bit more consistent and stronger magnets. But this one has aluminum front end on it. Looks like those motor mags are either Viper or HC slots. They could be BSRT, but they're not tagged. Traction mags are definitely the Ghost Cat traction mags. But yeah, these have the brush hood, so they're not a end bell setup like the Viper car. These are a square brush setup with brush springs inside, so it's kind of like an updated Tyco version for the guys out there that don't know. But this one, it's like, not sure whose gear that is. Might be a quicker, but definitely definitely could use some help, but be curious to see how those ones run. We will be making a video on kind of running these cars, or at least this car, the Spec Racer. That should be out later today on YouTube. I'll probably post it here on Facebook as well, but kind of doing some fun stuff with that. Next up, if you guys have questions too, go ahead and throw them in the comments. But next up is going to be the compression molded car. So once again, came with extra sponge rear end setup, and that is what the compression molded car looks like. So this has a hot arm in it. It's not tagged. I'm not even sure if it's epoxy, but it is balanced. But my guess is that it's, for a CMPM car, it's probably going to be 2.3 ohms down to 1.5 ohms. But these cars have level 10 strength magnets in them. Looks like this one's been sanded. This actually, I think, yeah. So this has high downforce motor magnets. Looks like it does have ball bearings in it. Independent front end setup. Pretty worn shoes. So, I mean, you can see the shoes have some pretty deep troughs. I personally don't like running shoes that are that worn because when you put new shoes on it, it totally changes everything. So I like to use new shoes. I like to tune my cars for new shoes. But something else, just looking at this thing too, is you can kind of see like where that hanger is and that hanger and where the shoes are. They're kind of uneven. So when I do some tuning on this car, I'm definitely going to look at that spot. Also too, a telling sign is how much the pickup shoe is bent back on the tab. I know that could be bent just right there, but to me, that should be exact. It should be in the same spot regardless, of the car. But pretty cool setup. These have quite a bit of power. And, it's always cool to try out new stuff and kind of see, like, to me, I'm curious because this person is a main contender, pretty much at the Nats or wherever else they show up. I'm really curious to see how these cars run. And if they run like crap, then my guess is that they didn't really give the platform their, fair share of attention. But hopefully they run good and I don't have to worry about that. But this is the other car. So the other car, another CMPM, extra sponge setup, came with a sponge setup. But this one too has the high downforce mags, custom arm. Not sure of the wind. But one thing I do notice on them is that the brushes are riding very, very, very close to the bottom of the comm, which is not good. So that's definitely something that can be improved. If the arm moves much, it actually pushes the brushes like that, which that is not ideal. So, just first glimpse, first take on what was received. We definitely can make some improvements on those areas. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I like to buy stuff like this, kind of see, lets me know like how stuff's running, but that others are building, what they like. I mean, it's really a lot of preference too, because over the years I've run, like racing against my brother, for instance, we can run the same exact lap times over and over and over and over. And if we switch cars, if I drive his car and he drives my car, we cannot even wheel that thing around like 5 laps without crashing. Totally different setups. But the edge is the edge, regardless of how you get there. And I found that true in almost all types of racing, even Formula One, you have people all making something to the same rules, totally different methods, and the edge is still the edge, you know, and that kind of applies to slot cars too. So if these don't drive to my liking, it's not going to mean that they're bad or that that person didn't know how to set up a car. The things that I look for are like build quality, you know, like if somebody, or just things like gear mesh is bad or tight, or maybe the front end of the car is slammed down super low because the track they were running on. I mean, a lot of that stuff is totally dependent on the track and the driver style, but really I'm looking at the overall build. Like, is the guide pin, you know, smashed in there? Like, is the timing clips all gouged from screwdrivers? Are the gears bad? Are the brushes in the right spot? You know, is the armature pushed too far forward? Is the armature shimmed super tight or whatnot? But see a couple guys on, hey Lee, hey Mike. But the car did come with, this setup came with some extras, so I have a bunch of extra parts here. And looks like extra bulkheads, pickups and stuff. So I probably will, and then an extra super stock motor. I mean, like I said too, guys, like a lot of this stuff, I don't super have a use for it. It's more of like, this is the point in the hobby that I'm at where it's fun for me. It's still exciting for me to get stuff like this. Like, I don't, you know, and two, like, I might rebuild those cars, make them fast, make them very respectable, because I always want to respect the brands of cars that we're making, or that I'm selling, you know. And if I resell those on eBay, or if I send them off to like Mike Kelly's high performance slot car auction and whatnot, like, I want to make sure that they're well represented. I'm not going to sabotage stuff. Like, I'm not a big fan of playing that way. That has happened before in the past with other people and manufacturers, and it really doesn't do our hobby any good, you know. So I want to make sure that somebody gets another brand of car or whatever it happens to be, even if it's a Tyco that I build or a Lifelike car that I build or a Super G Plus, it really doesn't matter, or an Auto World. I always want to make those to where somebody's like, wow, this is a really good car. And if they try to replicate it and they can't replicate it, I mean, at least at that point they know that, you know, hey, they built a really good car. Like, that's great and all. So, but just kind of, you know, wanted to share that with you guys. Like I said too, on this Spec Racer, we are going to be doing a video that will be released here pretty soon on running the car out of the box. We're running on our drag strip, and we're going to assess how it runs and make some changes and see what we can do to improve it. And that stuff will apply to every slot car. Doesn't matter if you're a national champion or a average Joe in your garage or in your house playing around with slot cars. It's the same. It applies to everything. So hopefully you guys like the video. Be sure to look for our video later today that's going to be on YouTube. We're trying to grow that channel, and we're trying to kick out some really good content for you guys. So we'd appreciate it if you head over to YouTube and maybe subscribe or whatever, you know, like it, do whatever you want to do. But know that it is there, and I'd like for people to send people there if they have questions about stuff. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. See you later on the next one. And my connection is slow, and when it's slow, it blocks my button to finish the video. Here we go again.